Um, Hi, my name is Linet. Um, I am 26 years old, and about 4.5 years ago, I would have never seen myself in the position and space and path that I am on now. And I cannot begin to explain how I got here, but I can only talk about the journey to getting here.
I think it's important for you to start from where you're comfortable, whether it's now and work back, and or whether it's a case of starting from 4 years ago, but I have to give you that space.
So the reason why I'm singling out 4 years ago, or maybe I should say 4.5, closer to 5, is because that was when I had the experience, or when I had the biggest change in my life. I was, from before that moment going backwards, I was like the perfect child. I come from a Kenyan family, and there's strict rules and there's guidelines, and I'm a firstborn and I'm a girl, so there's expectations of who I am supposed to be, and I'm supposed to be a good girl, who's gets straight A's and is respectful, and it's like does all her duties well as a firstborn. So I had all these kind of check boxes that I thought I needed to fill, or like a life that I needed to live, and so I tried to do that all my life. I was a straight A student in primary school and high school, not a rule breaker, I just very much fit sitting inside the boxes that were given to me by, not explicitly but implicitly, in my family and the culture that I grew up in. And so that whole process led me into finding a path in studying chemical engineering. I thought it was the best thing for me to do. I had done my sciences and my maths at school, and I was like, I'm a straight A student, I can do this. It's the best thing for me to do. All the good kids are engineers, all the good Kenyan kids are engineers, so I should do that too. And so I got accepted, and I enrolled at UCT, chemical engineering class of, what year was that? I think it was 2011. That was my first year, and everything was great. And first year was hard, yes, but I got through it. And I was living life. I was the best at the best university, doing one of the best degrees I could do, and everything was great. Second year got a little bit tougher, but I was like, no, I can do this. This is such a beautiful path of life to take on. My future is secured. My parents are so proud of me. Everybody I know is so proud of me. So I kind of just pushed on, kind of told myself I'm going to finish. End of second year, I was just kind of struggling, and I actually was academically excluded, and I appealed to go back, and they were like, yeah, sure, you can come back. And then UCT admin was like, we'll enroll you for civil engineering, and you can redo your second year. And so I was like, yes, this is God, this is my second chance, like I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be great. And so I did try my hardest, and I was completely convinced, like, okay, this is better, this is what I was meant to do. And I did do better than I did the previous year. This was end of 2013, and everything seemed to be going well. But at the end of that year, I had one module that I didn't pass. I remember I got a 48, and it was like heartbreaking, because I'd been doing the most. I was just kicking myself, trying to finish everything, and claim this new path that I'd been given a second chance at. And then I just remember feeling like, you know what? If I'd done all this work and it still didn't come through, what happened? What was it? And I remember just being broken and being like, I can't keep doing this. And I couldn't see myself continuing that year of like struggle and push. I couldn't see myself being an engineer, actually. I never pictured myself as an engineer. And I kept asking myself, why is it so hard? Surely, if it's something I'm meant to be doing, should it be this hard? And I know some people say nothing good is easy, and you know, like you gotta work for what you want. And I believe that, yes, but it shouldn't be like you are forcing yourself to, you know, put on something that doesn't fit, you know, sort of thing. And I remember being like, that's it, I want out, I'm going, I'm not gonna fight again, I'm not gonna appeal, I just need to start over, I need a new beginning. And making that call to my parents and being like, I don't wanna do this, I wanna come home, like it's over, I don't wanna do this anymore, was the hardest thing I have ever had to do in my life. Like, I remember looking at the phone for a good 10 minutes and being like, I have to make this call. I have to. Because I can't just turn up there with all my stuff. They'll be like, what happened? So I have to tell them. They have to expect me. Yeah, and I called my dad. I don't know why, because yeah, I just did. I guess it was the first number I dialed, and then we started, and I had to go back home, and that's how the process began. That's how this new journey, this new path that I found myself on right now, that's how it began. And I remember the bus trip home just feeling like such a failure, feeling like, how did I get here? What am I doing? Is this the right thing? Should I have appealed? I mean, like, it was just one module, honestly. You know, should I have worked harder? Should I have fought harder? Should I have spoken to someone? You know, like, so many questions. And it was a 23-hour bus trip, guys. So Cape Town to Pietermaritzburg, that's a 23-hour bus trip. Maybe 24 or 25, depending on if anything happens. So 23/24/25 hours of just like driving myself insane. It was a lot. And I remember just thinking, what am I going to do next? And I had no answer to that question. I didn't know. Is it because maybe UCT is too much? Maybe should I try a new university? Is it really engineering? Is it me? Am I not smart enough? I mean, you know, like, what is next? And I had no idea, and it just that feeling of being a failure and not knowing what to do next and not knowing how to tackle this was just so overwhelming, and not knowing how to tell everybody else. Everybody else was so invested in this dream of me of being an engineer, and family, friends, not just my immediate family, friends. I mean, there were times when family friends would bring their kids or their like cousins or something, or like link me up with them so that I could tell them how to do engineering, and, you know, tell them what is the best path to take, and, you know, how to pass well so that you get it, you know. And just like so many people were invested in that identity of Linet the engineer and Linet the, you know, achiever. Yes, the achiever, and just sitting with that and being like, I am actually not that person. So I get home and my mom is a mess. She's like broken. My dad is just like, I don't know, stoic. And yeah, you're home now, okay? Come in, right? You're back, fine. We'll figure something out. And just, it was probably early December. That month was the most tense month of my life. Just like feeling like I'm walking around eggshells, feeling like a disappointment, feeling like the prodigal child had returned, and not knowing like what my future held. and feeling like, wow, just look at how the mighty have fallen, look at where I am now, and just wanting to, you know, kind of curl up in a ball and just not talk to anybody. I remember I didn't shut down my social media, but I just stayed off everything. I didn't want anybody to know what was happening. I didn't want anybody to know where I was. And I was just, you know, trying to just almost keep the facade, keep the image. And, you know, as I figured it out, I just didn't want everybody to know how, you know, I'd failed, and, you know, how I was no longer this perfect child. And also just not seeing people doing so well and feeling even worse about myself and feeling like, wow, look at them, you know. So December, come January, it's like I have to make a plan because I've decided I'm not going to go back to UCT. And then it's like, so what do I do? Long story short, because there was a lot that happened and there were discussions that were had in that living room, those family meetings, me and my mom and my dad, and we were like, okay, we live next to UK's then. It's literally 10 minutes away, the Pietermaritzburg campus. Just go and apply. Because my mom literally said, we won't have you sitting in the house doing nothing. She was like, I'm not going to allow that. I was like, okay, expected. So what am I going to do? And I go and I fill in an application form. I remember my first choice was engineering, lo and behold, even though I knew it was the wrong decision. And I even like went to DUT, and I got accepted. I got an acceptance letter, but I remember something was missing, and I needed something to apply for the study visa, because the study visa was reading I'm in South Africa to go to UCT. So something happened there and we didn't follow it up. Then UK's did engineering was full. Then my second choice was BSc, just a BSc Science General, something like that. That was also full, because this is January 2014, all of the applications are done. Then my third choice was like BCom General, because I was like, listen, I really enjoyed because I was part of the student organization Teachout, where we'd go to high schools and tutor disadvantaged students in the Cape Town area, and I really enjoyed being a human resources coordinator in that society. So I was like, I really enjoyed that. If, you know, like, if anything, I can see myself doing that going into the future. And so that was my third choice. So choice 1 is full, choice 2 is full, choice 2 was like, okay, you're accepted. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to commerce now. And that's how I ended up going to the commerce world. That's how I was like, I guess this is it, you know, like, I guess I'll do it, because I did put it down as a choice. And fast forward 3 years later, okay, no. First year, walking into class, a bunch of 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds, and there I am, a 21-year-old, like, that feeling out of place. Again, it reinforced that feeling of failure and feeling like I'm not supposed to be here. What am I doing here? You know, like, why am I a 21-year-old surrounded by 18-year-olds? You know, and just like not believing in myself, and like not believing in the space that space that I was in, that I was meant to be in there. Just thinking that this is not where I should be. This is so wrong. Like, Linet, you have messed up. Like, what is this? And I remember just getting through that. The only way I got through that was like my friends who would just kind of encourage me, be like, Linet, look, you can do this. It's just another 3 years. I mean, time goes by quickly, and you know what? It's fine. You can make the most out of this, and you are not a failure. You are not your degree. All of those people who just kept on reminding me of my worth and reminding me that it's not the end of the world, when I couldn't remind myself. The conversations I was having with myself in my head were not healthy at all. And just being at home was also not healthy, because the looks and the subtones and, you know, the subtext, sorry, and just like my parents and the idea, because they were also paying my fees, the idea of 3 years of school fees and tuition fees gone, you know, and that guilt, carrying that guilt, you know, and the firstborn child, what an example, what a bad example I was to my siblings, just like carrying that around me was just, it was so difficult. And I had to teach myself to change that narrative in my head, supported by my friends and supported by the people who were like telling me it's okay, you can do this, you can navigate. It was a process. It had to be a process. It was not overnight. And then as I was doing that, I had to learn to ask myself tough questions and answer those questions. So there's a difference between asking yourself a tough question and then not answering it and then leaving it and then being like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I had to answer them because then I was on a path of rediscovering who Linet was, because she wasn't the perfect child that she was trained to be anymore. So stuff like, why did I fail engineering? Why did I start engineering in the first place? What am I meant to be doing with my life? Who is Linet? What is she good at doing? You know, like, what does she want to do for the rest of her life? Why does she care so much what other people think of you? You know, like, why was it such a big deal for me to shut Facebook off? Because, I mean, like, it's yeah, you change stuff. Why must people not know about it? You know what I mean? So, just asking those questions, rediscovering myself, rediscovering my strengths and my weaknesses, and telling myself it's okay to fail. It's okay to have something not go the way it was supposed to go and not beat yourself up about it. Because that's another thing. I would put on a brave face to people and tell them, yeah, it's okay, I'm going to do it, it's fine. Engineering wasn't for me, but I'm going to be okay. But the conversations I was having with myself were not healthy at all. So I had to teach myself to accept failure gracefully and be kind to myself. And, you know, to realize that failure is a stepping stone, it's not a roadblock.